Got Sean McCann with me, a great solo artist, and you might know Sean from another little band that we play a bit of from the East Coast called Great Big Sea. How are you, Sean?
I am fantastic, Rod. How are you?
Good. So we're going to talk about your GBS days, but right now I want to talk about you, and you're coming to town on March the 2nd.
Yeah, the Evergreen Cultural Center in Coquitlam. My first time playing in Coquitlam proper. Can't wait to be there.
It's nice, a beautiful little soft cedar, very intimate too. I think you're just going to be able to reach out and sort of touch everybody. That's what it's like, not just with the music, but with your hand. That's how great the venue is.
That's exactly the right place for me to be. I find that those shows are the best, and this is where I find myself more and more often these days.
Yeah.
And, music really does its job there. If people can connect in a big way in smaller venues. And I think the future of the music industry, if there is one, is I think small is going to be the new big. That's what I'm betting on.
You're absolutely right, because that's what it's about. Because in this day and age, with the sound surround and the HD TVs, if I want to look at you as an artist playing, I can have you right in my living room, and you'll sound amazing and that. But you just don't have that live feel that you need to make the magic happen.
No, and I mean today, with the rise of technology, we've been promised extreme connectivity, and I guess we are connected on social media in a way, but I find it very superficial. And I think that it's come to the point now where people will come home from work and, they'll pour a glass of wine and get on Facebook, and that is now a night out. That's literally a night out. And there's so much that you can do on Facebook and social media, and so many things you can see. But what you can't see are the eyeballs of human beings.
Yeah, and that's
real
it.
ones.
Yeah, and that's very troubling, because as a performer, I mean, you've probably met a lot of people, you've been a lot of places, and you get that connectivity, sometimes with a whole crowd, sometimes with a single person.
Yeah, I mean, I try, I've lived on the big stage, Rod, as you know, for a long time, 20 years. I've played in front of 20,000 people and 30,000 people and 10,000 people, and I know how it feels. And you know what? I would never go back to that. I would never change what I'm doing now for that, because you really have to dumb it down. You can't say much when you're trying to talk to that many people. You really have to make it so simple that it's almost meaningless in some ways. And I think there's a place for all that, but that's not what I'm about today. I want to say a lot more. I feel like if I have one regret about the band, is that I didn't say more when I was there.
Yeah, I understand. We're going to talk about the band in a minute, but you said something there, because you've got a superstar like Bruce Springsteen, who's doing these very intimate shows in a small theater in New York, and maybe that's exactly what you say. We're going to get back to that, because you got that story, and you're going to come. You can go to a huge concert, but then you're fighting with people. People are smoking dope next to you. You don't like that person, but when you're in that small intimate setting, I think you got it right. Hopefully that's the way it's going to go.
Well, for me, it's the only way forward. And I think what the weird thing is that I use, like everybody, I use Facebook and Twitter and what's the new one, Instagram now,
Yeah.
to let people know, to raise awareness about my shows and promote them, because they're the only real consistent thing that we can use that is relatively inexpensive. But I find now that they are actually, those social medias, especially a Facebook, that's actually keeping people home. So it's a double-edged sword, like that is the competition. And it's a conversation that the music industry really never had, and it's changing the way we are, our societal, our patterns in society.
Yeah.
And I just think if we lose the face-to-face, if we lose these intimate connections as people and human beings, like, we'll lose too much, because, we do need to have physical contact. It means something. And when you're playing music live, it's great to listen to music, but to see it happen in front of you, which is what I do, see it come spilling out of a human being right there, like, that's a powerful thing. It's always affected me. And the best way to do that is in a room like the Evergreen Arts.
Yeah, and that's just it, And how long is your show going to be?
I always do two sets. You
Two
know,
sets.
I try to keep it under an hour per set. I have a problem with time. I lose sense of it. I also have over 200 songs I've recorded, so
Wow.
I don't know. I try to keep it under 2 hours.
Now, do you do just your stuff, or do you do stuff that you co-wrote with GBS, Great Big Sea? Do you go back to some of those ones?
I have access to the whole catalog. I wrote all the best ones.
Yeah.
So I take requests every night, and if they're the right requests, by that I mean the ones that are going the same speed I'm going at the time of the request, they tend to come out. But that's always a funny part of the show because we have to decide as a group which Great Big Sea songs I'm going to take on.
Nice.
There's usually a fairly good debate about that.
Yeah, and you look at it. I actually saw was it the bagpipers or something? The Changing of the Guard, I think. Did you see the video over in London? And they were using one of the Great Big Sea songs for that. It was either a big
Yes.
band. Yeah, it was very cool.
Yeah, it was the Canadians' turn, I think.
Yeah.
They different countries of the old empire take turns, and they did "Ordinary Day," I believe.
Yeah.
They played as their tune.
Now,
the pipe band.
yeah, and being a Canadian, like, you guys are loved by everybody, it seems, but radio in general has ignored that band. And what are your thoughts on that?
Great Big Sea, you mean?
Well, yeah, because you look at the way radio is nowadays. Like, we're a different kind of radio station, so I'm going to slag every other station, it seems. But there's so much good music out there, and there's so many great songs you did with Great Big Sea, and so many songs you've done by yourself. And in general, you don't seem to get the what's due, I guess, is for lack of a better term, for as a fan is saying this.
Yeah, I guess we were never a radio band. I guess I don't know. I've never really thought of it, to be honest.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I know it is interesting. It's new. It's kind of news to me. I guess you're right, though. I'm sure you're right because you know what you're doing.
I pretend I know.
I can't explain that. I mean, Great Big Seas Rise is really weird. It was never. We never really had any hits. We had maybe Ordinary Day was the closest thing we had to a hit, which may have been top 30.
Yeah.
But we connected with audiences live, and we made good videos back in the day when videos mattered. And I guess at the end of the day, what shocked everybody about Great Big Sea was how many fans we accumulate. You know, how many people came to our shows. And I think that we lived and died by the show. That's all we had. You know, we had a really great show for people who wanted we were the best party band in Canada.
Yes,
that was it.
You
could touch us.
Yeah, you nailed it right there. The best party band in Canada. Now, Great Big Sea, the party band, it takes its toll, right? You're with these people sometimes 24/7 for days on end, and different ways of coping. Now, you had some issues you had to deal with at that time.
Yeah, I mean, in retrospect, you know, it was a great place to hide for me. I was an alcoholic drank heavily for 35 years. And, I was a high functioning alcoholic, smart guy. So this was a way to make, lots of money and also go to work every day and not only have access to, but be expected to drink copious amounts of alcohol. So, I mean, I built the world around myself, and it's kind of, looking back, it's kind of like I did what I did to get to that exactly that place. Now, I guess it's a positive thing that it brought enjoyment to so many thousands of people, and that's a good thing, I still get complaints about the many hangovers it caused as well, and I always say, like, none were worse than mine. Because every night for us, was Saturday night, whether it was Tuesday in Thompson, Manitoba, or Wednesday in Victoria, it was always Saturday, and every night we just had to turn it on, and every day there was a bottle of whiskey or rum, 4 bottles of wine, and 48 beer to deal with somehow, But over time, 7 years. I've been sober now for 7 years. I did the last tour with the band sober, and I wouldn't recommend that to anyone who's trying to stay sober or become a sober person. The Great Big Bus is not the place where you want to be. So that was it proved itself to be a bad decision in retrospect. But no regrets. I have no regrets. I tried hard, and I found a way I found my way out. And the way I did it was by facing my truth. Like I had to stop drinking and deal with the problem. And the problem was that I was sexually abused by a priest when I was 15. And people drink for reasons. And that's why I drank. That's what happened to me. Something really bad happened. And the more work I do in the mental health field since I woke up 6.5 years ago, I find this over and over again. And the stats show 80% of people who suffer from addiction and alcoholism is because something bad has happened. And that's what we got to talk about.
Yeah. And you had the support and actually the ultimatum given to you by your partner.
Yes, my higher power, I call her. Andrea gave me a choice. It was one or the other, and that's what it came down to. And you know what? That's often the way we either make the right decision or the wrong. That's what it usually comes down to. Your life becomes unmanageable, and there's an intervention of some kind, and you are given an opportunity, a last final opportunity to do the right thing. And I was lucky. I finally got the message. I was given, I screwed it up so many times, and then finally didn't, and I'm really grateful for that, that opportunity and the courage it took to say that to me. We've got kids, that wasn't an easy ultimatum to give.
Yeah.
So she's a strong woman.
Well, good for you. You're a lucky man. How do you mend fences now? Because there's some bad blood between you and some band members and other things because of what happened. I know it's not just you, but how do you go about mending fences? I mean, the Eagles did it, so pretty much anybody can do it, it seems. But what do you do?
Right now, there's been no one's calling me and asking me how I'm doing, or there's no. If you're fishing that, like, is there going to be a reunion? I think that I'm the one that changed, and I told the guys I was changing my life. I don't think they expected me to remain sober. I think that was a big issue. I think they thought I'd fall off the wagon. Fair enough to them. I had before. I'd failed many times, and I became a nuisance as a sober person. I started to question what we were doing and why, and so we started to go on. I chose a completely different path.
Yeah,
and that caused some hard feelings, and I don't know, again, I'm the one that changed. Alan is out there doing Great Big C. He's doing what he always did. He hasn't changed a bit. The jokes are the same. The set list is the same. And more power to him, because there's money in that. We've proven one thing: you can make money if you just stick with the program.
Right.
But for me, it wasn't an option. So I don't know. In answer to your question, I'm not in contact with the lads, but I think they have what they want. Bob bought a bar in St. John's, and he seems happy there. Alan gets to be Great Big C, and he seems happy there. And I'm out here trying to change the world, and that's what I should have been doing for a long time. And I'm happy here. So I think everyone's happy, and I think that's the most important thing.
You're right. It is, because please yourself. If you can't be happy with yourself, you can't be happy with anybody else. So.
Absolutely. So there's no. I don't think there's any fences to mend, really. There's choices have been made, and I think ultimately they were the right decisions for all, as far as I can tell.
Well, yeah, that's good, and congratulations on your soberness. You said 7 years. Now we're going to go back to the show. So you're March 2nd, Evergreen Cultural Center, a beautiful soft cedar, and you're leading up to that. I mean, you've got some shows in the States, then you come to Western Canada, then you go to Eastern Canada, you come back to Western Canada, you go to New York. Who does your tour schedule?
That would be me. I'm now. Alan has the Great Big C manager, and he can keep him.
Yeah.
But I like, I don't ever want to get on a tour bus again. I just I go out, when things arise, I'll book around them. I do a lot of public speaking now, but I saw an opportunity to build a week's work. That's about as much as I want to do at a time. I generally do weekends, every second weekend. And, because life is more important than money, and I made a lot of decisions, far too many just for that reason. And I think there's a real danger there. And it's easy to fall in that trap because we all need money.
Right.
But, I want to live to be I want to be an old guy. So, and I want to enjoy my life and my family. So I spread it out now. I'm not chasing, I'm not chasing the old model, which is irrelevant to me. When people invite me to a part of the country, I'll say yes, and then I'll look how can I do more out there while I'm there. So that's how Alberta happens, British Columbia happens, and New York happens. It's just, and as I keep doing what I'm doing, the response is always every gig I do, I always get 2 more.
Great.
So that tells me I'm doing something right, and as long as I can manage it this way, spreading it out again every second week is great because I need that too. Like, I need this. People often ask me, how do you stay sober? Do you go to AA meetings or whatever? And I say, no, this is it. This is what I do. Music is my medicine. This is my meeting. This is what I do. I need to interact. When I'm on stage singing my songs that now have a very different meaning and are impactful on people's lives in a different way, I'm the best version of myself. That's where you'll see the best Sean McCann, and that's the only thing I'm prepared to offer from now on, the best of me.
Sounds fantastic. Is it just you, or do you bring a band with you?
No, who can afford a band?
Well, yeah, I was wondering that. So
bands are trouble. They make so much noise. They're dirty. They're loud. They stay up late. I'm all by myself. Far more peaceful. It's like a vacation.
That's nice. Yeah, that's really cool. So very intimate meeting with you, Sean McCann, March 2nd, the Evergreen Cultural Center. You do your solo stuff. You got 5 solo albums now?
I do 5 solo records, and again, I just was trying to add it up for SoCal the other day. I'm over 225 songs recorded at this point, so I got a problem now. If I have another habit, it's songwriting and recording.
Well, good for you. And I'm happy to hear success stories with you, because your biggest success story is realizing you've got a family and that you got to change. So good for you.
Yeah,
for doing
and
that.
You can, if anyone's listening out there, we're stronger than we think, and we can do this. It wasn't easy to walk away from a lucrative job like Great Big Sea. It wasn't easy to quit drinking and using drugs. But, if I can do it, if the guy from Great Big Sea can quit drinking, anybody can.
Well, and one of my favorite songs is one you guys did with Dean Brody. It's Finally Friday, or whatever the heck it's called. And it's just...
Right.
Sorry?
Yes, I remember Dean. He's a good-looking cowboy. That's what he is.
Yeah. And the only thing bad, he's from Edmonton, but no, it's just, and there again, it's a big party song, and that's what you guys are. You're Canada's favorite party band, or we're Canada's favorite party band. So yeah.
Yeah, I just have to say, I felt the lash in Edmonton right then. there was a whiplash in Edmonton. I didn't know he was from there.
Well, yeah, he used to work at Walmart in Edmonton, and then he got his career started, which is very cool indeed. So yeah, but another Canadian success story for another day.
Right on, man.
Yeah.
Well, listen, it was lovely to talk to you again, and
yes.
And I look forward to seeing you at the show. I hope to see you face to face. Let's gather. Let's talk about this more.
Definitely. Yeah, Sean McCann, solo, March 2nd. At the Evergreen Cultural Center. He's doing his solo stuff as well as some Great Big Sea songs. Thank you so much, Sean.
Thank you, Rod. Thanks for staying with me, and thanks for listening. Above all, thank you.